Hey everyone, how you doing? It is a nice Saturday, or I should say Sunday morning today, and I figured we'd talk about some spiritual in the news things because I know things have been hard and hitting at each other, at everybody, and hitting each other in different ways and different points. People have lost people in their family recently, or are going to lose people in the near future. Uh, and I know, and some people have lost work, and I know it's hard out here, folks, but like Jesus says, don't give up on the fight. And like Paul says the same words, don't give up on the fight because the reason why you're having these problems, some may be because of me getting you prepared and ready for something bigger or better or even different that you're going to be doing for me. Just bring up this question. When you go to church, a lot of people go to church looking for what's in it for me. What I call what's in it for me model. And, it's not about what you want, it's what God can utilize from you. So when you go to church, try not thinking about what's in it for you or me approach, but try to go to church to see how God can utilize you best. How God can best utilize you in the church, do his work in the kingdom here on earth to help people come to the Lord. Think about it that way. And believe me, instead of the what's in it for me attitude, you'll be seeing, well, what God can best use you for to do his work in, because that's the way you should approach that on a spiritual level. And I want to say to those out there, if you want to make a donation, please send your donations in, your tithe, your love offering, or your donation. If you want to send it to 7110 New NEW Hunter Hunter Road, Mechanicsville, Virginia 23111. Or you can head me up by PM me personally, messaging me on Facebook is what PM is. Not post millennium time, but PM me means personal messenger too. Me on through Facebook, or you can just send it by snail mail by the address I just gave you, the 7110 one. But make sure you get it in here by the end of the month of May, because we're in right now. So if you have my address and you feel led to send an offering, a love offering, to sow a seed to help us with our move, because we need a lot of money to move. I had to put my business on hold, and I am about $100 short on my rent. I have most of it, but I need $100. So if you would like to help out with that, then please send a donation in or love offering or your tithe in to support us. And also another way you can do it is by simply subscribing down below. Here there's a little button down there that says subscribe. Click it and set your notifications on, so that when I send something out or it loads up to YouTube, you can actually see it in your in your um, in your notifications box on your device or on your computer, wherever you tend to view us from the best, or if you do it from a combination of both of all those devices. Whatever your pleather is, hopefully that'll help you when it comes to that. And thank you for subscribing to us, and thank you for your wonderful words of wisdom, and thank you for those who do support our ministry financially with your tithes and offerings, and even those who do send in love offerings and donations as well, as we go towards the church and the ministry and for our purpose and for books with logos. We use logos for the church, and that's what I use it for, preaching, and we're going to be doing it again. People have been asking about that. So that's going to start happening when we move down to North Carolina. So we're going to need money to come in to help keep paying the internet every month, and also to help so we can do our ministry. And when we do our ministry out on the beach, and when we do our ministry out there on the boardwalk, out there where I live nearby, we're going to need money to be able to keep doing this, and you'll be able to see it on YouTube. And don't worry, that won't be a simulation. What you'll see with the river underneath the boardwalk or underneath the pier, and the sounds are all real. So hopefully you will be able to help us in that regard and help us so we continue doing the work down there, and you can stay abreast on what's going on with us in the ministry up here or wherever you are, in the United States or around the world where you receive us through the internet each and every week. So I hope everybody's had a good week, and like I said, there's lots of prayer requests, like I just said in the beginning of this podcast. And but focus on Christ. think about the reason why we give. A lot of people think that giving is not something you have to do. But actually, none of these churches would have happened if it wasn't for the hearts and the seeds of prayers that were sown by many saints that came before you. And none of these churches that you see that are out here today would not have happened if it wasn't for money that was donated or given. And that's the same way what we're asking you here to do with our channel on YouTube. And, that way we can get more on fire and get more things done and be able to do things more in that direction so we can do things spiritual, so we can grow and help other people come to Christ. That's the other part of this channel. And, of course, the news updates are also another part of it. It's a facet of it. So you can support us in our independent news journalism. You can support us in our IT efforts on how to combat all kinds of problems with Trojans and worms. And I don't mean worms in your soil in your garden, but worms that get in your computer servers and other problems that they do. And massive exploited ransomware and all these different things that attack your BIOS and all your registry and kernel and everything, like we see in Mac and Linux OSs, operating systems is what that is. So please, help us out, because I can't do this work without you and your help and your generosity. And the only way we can do this church is with donations and offerings and tithes. Because, all churches need it. So I know they got a book out there that says you don't have to give. And some people really feel like they don't want to tithe. And they don't have to give. But really, when you don't tithe or give, you're not being blessed. So even though there are books out there that say it's not required to give and it's not necessary, you just give as you feel led, that's true. Because you should give free willing. You should give freely when you feel moved to do so. But you should not just give up the giving and say it's not a New Testament practice, because Jesus said that a good ideal to start off with, when people asked him about how much should people tithe, he said 10% of everything they owned. Because back then in churches, unlike now, people gave a tenth of their estate. They gave a tenth of literally everything they had. All right? So that's important to know and to pay attention to closely. And that's not something that we do so bad today, but if things get worse, we'll probably get back to that system again. My nose gets itching, that's why I move it away. But the cops in Hanover County are really, really nice to me. They were very, very nice tonight. They came out here tonight. All I was doing outside in front of my uncle's apartment is I was just sitting on the sidewalk, kind of kneeling on my legs. And I had to move my legs because they were starting to hurt. And the cops come driving by. And the cops, they're nice. I don't have a problem with the police. I respect them. I think they do a good job. I think very highly of all of them. I think they're very professional. And I wouldn't mind getting a job, hint, that some police said that they would help me get to work there. But I don't know if they want to hire me because of because of some of the stuff that I put on social media. And B, I hope that's not a problem, because I speak the truth. But some things I speak about, I don't know if that would be a problem or not. To me, I don't think it should be, because it is the truth about things. Because that's how I report it. That's my style of media and news gathering and journalism. And secondly, it may be a problem because of all the times the cops came out here. But really, when they came out here, most of the time, it wasn't me having a problem, even though I was blamed for it, okay, by these people, by BP, and Patricia Tyler, and of course by Danny when he used to live here. He would call the police on me some too, or at times too, a lot of times too, and all three of them would gang up on me, and I wasn't even doing these things that they were accusing me of. I was, all I would do is just ask these three people, when they would start something on me, they would just come at me and argue, and I truthfully would just reply and ask them a question, and they all would go, well, we're going to call the police. I'm calling the police on you. I said, why? I'm just asking you a question. Why can't you just stop and answer the question? Why do you have to call the police? I'm not doing nothing to you. You might not like it because I'm outside in the hallway talking to Kathy, because that's what I'd be doing, and he'd make a big deal because we're outside in the hallway talking. When yet it's daytime, because he liked to sleep during the daytime when everybody else is up. and sit, and then he would be up all night walking around the buildings, making noises and being outside, and I don't know what he was doing, but he was always walking around the property real early in the morning. And he would get in his car and leave and go. I don't know where to go, and then he would come back around 8 o'clock, and then he would or 9, and then he would go to sleep in his apartment all day. But then when people were outside, that's the way he was. It was like that's like Danny was like a cat because he would sleep. I'm serious. He was like a human cat. The way he acted and everything. He'd always be really sneaky and quiet, and then he would like sleep during the day, but then he would stay up all night long. And even my neighbor across the hallway, when she lived here, she would do the same thing. She would sleep during the day and stay up all night long. It was not because she was worried about what I was doing. I think she was worried about what I was doing, and she would say it's because she's worried about what I might do to her, but I never did anything to her. So I don't know why somebody said that, because that's what they said to the police when they came out here on the 19th of March. And it wasn't even true. A lot of stuff they said wasn't even true, blatantly. But, all three of those cats. But the thing is, that's what they said. And, it wasn't me keeping her up. She would just stay up because she always liked staying up like a cat at night, because I guess she got her days and nights mixed up. And a lot of older people, when they get older, sometimes do that. If they were a day person, they become a night person because they simply can't sleep. And I don't know why that is, for the lack of words, but it's just what they do. And sometimes if they're a day person, they become a night person. If they're a night person when they were younger, they become a day person when they get older. It's like the gland in the body, or the medicine, or something happens with their body chemically, and it changes all that. So sometimes that's why people do that and act that way. Or sometimes it could be other reasons that keep them up medically, because their leg might be jumping up and down. My grandpa had a jumping leg when he was alive, and he would get up because he couldn't sleep because his leg would be moving all around, because the nerves in his leg, both legs, would jump. Or he would wake up and have real strong pains in his legs, and I would have to run in there, and I guess Grandma did it when she was alive, and massage his legs sometimes and put extra blankets on him to keep him warm, and that would make the pain go away. And so, that could be the other reason why they're up at night, too. So, it wasn't so much because she was worried about what I'm doing. Of course, she was doing that all by herself anyway, because she was always watching me and wondering what I was doing anyway when she lived over here. But it wasn't because of me doing something bad to her. It's just because she was just being nosy. Real nosy, like an older person usually does. Because, face it, most people in here that are old are really paranoid about a lot of stuff. And they sometimes will manufacture people knocking on windows and doors. And yet there was somebody going around here that I caught last Tuesday, and that's why I got this restraining order from her that was filed on the 28th of April. And then it was fully enforced on the following Monday, 2 p.m. And a lot of that was manufactured. I mean, pretty much 90% of that was manufactured, because her and Patricia went up there and lied to S. Shilton, I guess. Shilton, whoever that is, the warden, or the magistrate, not warden, but the magistrate that was there where they went to do it. And they lied to them, falsified information, falsely reported it. And even, it was falsely reported twice, because they went up there on a Thursday night, and then they went back there on Monday and reported it again. So they perjured themselves twice, in other words. There's other things that are going to be added to that. What they did with the slander, with the hacking and the Wi-Fi's, knocking on the windows, that both Tricia and her had all to do with. And, attacking my business, and saying I'm a sex predator, which I'm none of these things, because my background is clean. I don't have a sex offender. I'm not a sex offender. I'm not a predator. I'm not of any kind. But I wanted a person that kept saying it and yelling it in the hallways when she lived over here last summer and the summer before, when she did it 3 or 4 times out there when everybody was out there in the breezeway. Because even Mara made a note about her yelling it in the hallway, and she couldn't believe it. She didn't understand why she did it. And I didn't either, because it was really embarrassing. And it was really upsetting, and I told the landlord about it, and she didn't do nothing about it. It's just like she could just do all this stuff and get away with it. Because I went into their office many times and even left many calls, phone messages, regarding about many different things that she was doing to me. And nothing was ever done about it. Nothing. It's just like she's okay and everything's okay, and then when something would happen, I would always have to go to her to ask her, what's going on? Why did I receive this? And then she would tell me, but she would not talk to me about it. She would just believe only the ladies that are involved with this, the Three Musketeers. Now, Miriam Tate has been added to their consortium, and now she's a new member, I guess, of the clique, and they're so quest of getting me out of here any way they can, any way possible, like they continue to brag and boast about even to this day. Over the several years, Miriam didn't do nothing to me, but it's kind of like she's got into it. I don't know why. Kind of persuaded her and all. Now all of a sudden she's scared of me because it's just weird. We were talking just 2 weeks. We were talking all this time off and on, real nice and everything. But then all of a sudden, the week when Mr. Piper comes up, then all of a sudden she called the cops 14 hours later. Not night when it happened, like she said, at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, a.m. She called him at 2 or 3 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon, on Tuesday. And I wasn't even out. I wasn't even here when that happened. I was down at the store, actually, getting some coffee. I wasn't even here at all. But anyway, that's what she told him, all this stuff, and it was just a big lie. I think she just got mixed up with other things that happened, but anyway, that's pretty much what I said on the other video. But I wanted to clarify some things. That's why I resaid some of this stuff, because it is true, really, what really did happen. And to know somebody, it just really hurts in my heart to know somebody that you helped save their life from a real killer and a real predator and a real person that would really hurt her. Because you could be a predator and not be a sex predator too, because there are abusive predators too that are violent. And I helped save this girl, and then she turned on me, and I don't understand it. And, I've not done anything to this lady except helped her and protected her when she needed it. And now all of a sudden she's turned against me. And it's happened like this all the time. With the same with these other two bit ladies, Patricia and the lady that lived across the hallway from me that moved over on the other side that got rewarded when she should have been evicted out of here, not me. Same with Patricia, she should have been evicted out of here because they're the ones that caused all those problems. And, and of course the lady that moved, she's still riding around here and taunting me. She's doing that every day. Not to mention with the lights, the big car lights in my face, riding around like she's on patrol or something. And then she was up there at the store today, and the cops were out there, and I wasn't even doing nothing wrong. All I was doing was just eating lunch. And they were up there trying to say I was violating and threatening her because she's there. I was already there before she got there. But, I was there before she was, so I was eating lunch, and I wasn't violating any protective order. I'm not a violent person, and she said a lot of things to me, a whole lot of things to me, a lot more than what I reported, like I stated on YouTube. I just started reporting some of the stuff towards the end, but, I had to tell my side of the story, and that's why it's out there on YouTube. Not because I'm saying lies or that I'm, like she says, or that I'm harassing her. No, this is my record of my side of the story, what really happened, in spite of what's going around by their mouth and by the rumors and by getting other people and trying to get other people to turn against me to be in their clique. That's why this is out on YouTube. It's not harassing at all. It's just my true story from my side and my perspective of this ongoing harassment that happens since I came here till now. And this protective order is just another way of her getting back at me one last time. Just to think she's got power and control over me like she thought she had over me all along, even though she really doesn't have control or power over me at all. And that's the reason why she did this, because she just wants to be able to try to get back at me one last time before I move out of here. And that's the reason why she did this. And I really do believe that. Plus, she don't know who told on her about the windows. But yeah, she automatically assumed it was me, and that was the other reason why I gave her motive to do this with her friend Patricia on Wednesday night, or Thursday night. And then around 11 o'clock midnight, they gave me this protective temporary order, and then Monday they went down there and had it, permanent, and I wasn't even doing anything to her at all. I haven't done a single thing wrong. And I don't understand why I have this at all. because I'm not a violent person. I'm not truly violent at all. I don't even have it on my file. But that's just what I've been going with. I love you all, and just pray for me and pray for my situation that it gets a lot better. And we actually get a real church down there in North Carolina. Let's get happy here and get away from this, and that we'll have a real good experience where we're moving in the apartment complex where we're going down there, because it looks really nice down there. And it seems really, really nice. And I think there's a lot of good people I'm going to meet down there, and we're going to be able to do this church thing, like Kathy said, that we try to do here, but the people here just made it impossible to really do the ministry here, almost, because of all the things they've been disseminating and gossiping around about me here and outside the community, Lord. People, just let you know, it's just been horrible, really bad, to say the least. And hopefully it'll be a lot better down there. I really don't want to move from Hanover. I hope that the Hanover County Police do hire me to help them head up the cyber department, because I'd rather stay here, and I'd rather work for them and work for Hanover County, because I'd rather help them to head this up, because I know we need a cyber force in this county. We have almost 1 million people who live here, and I think we need to have something here to watch out for kids and pedophilia, and need to watch out and study what they're doing in their chat rooms, and so we can stop it before it starts, and we can keep predators away from our kids, and we can keep these things from happening where people are hiding underneath people's houses. We can stop that before it even happens, so they won't be able to get underneath someone's house to steal their piping, or if they're waiting out to try to rob somebody or whatever they're trying to do. We can kind of diffuse those things before they even get going, because of the surveillance and technology that we'll be able to use, and tools we'll be able to put out in the communities to be able to kind of just stop that before it even happens. So I want to be a part of that here in Hanover, because I think it's the time that we need to get that implemented, because the time that we live in, and this county is growing and growing exponentially, and those people in law enforcement and those people in the county, what I'm talking about. It's growing, and I think a cyber force is definitely needed for this county to help combat the latest threats, and also to have a sort of offensive measure, counteroffensive attack with these potential hackers that prey on banks and prey on individuals and prey on people's identities. And we can be active role stamps to assist other agencies to be able to do this. This is my statement to you. For those of you who are listening, who are in justice and who are in the law, this is my proposal to you. I know you're listening, because I'd rather stay here. You understand, I don't want to go to North Carolina. I'd rather stay here in Hanover, where I've grown up. I've lived here ever since I was 11 years old. I like Hanover County. I know the police, some of the police in the department. I feel like I got to know a lot of you, with y'all coming out here to Harbor Square for a lot of crazy stuff going on that really wasn't even my fault. Just some of these people were calling, and they were just lying, and then they were just saying things because it's this new thing, like whatever happens, it's always me, because I'm outside walking around. So automatically, like the landlord said, they're just going to blame me, even though I'm not doing that stuff. I'm just outside, because I'm just sitting there on the bench, or going outside my uncle's and using his internet, because he lets me use his internet. And so you probably know me from coming out here, and the police were very nice tonight, as they were many other nights, and I appreciate that. And I would like to work with you all and help you all become police of the future, to be able to protect the internet and be able to be educated in the internet world sphere of things, so you could be able to do your job even more better and more effective and more efficiently, and be able to combat crime a lot of times before it even hits the real world, or before it even hits the cyberspace. So let me know what you think. You know where I live. You know where I'm at. I'm just waiting for you to call me. This is just an indirect, plea and an invitation to come be a part of your team to help make Hanover even better. And I want to stay here, and I want to be able to help you all to do just that. I'm looking for you to give me a call, you to come here and look me up and talk to me. I don't drive, but believe me, I know this stuff really well. I'm one of the best in the industry. I'm very secretive about a lot of things, but y'all probably know that now, because you looked at my background. You probably saw the other stuff that has been hidden, that most people can't see, that is actually there, sealed. So you might know that now. So please give me a call and let me know what we can do so we can work together to get this going and make this a reality so we can have even a better police fighting force to do not just civilian but working in the human, real physical world is what I meant to say, but also being a cop even in the cyber world. Because most crimes happen more so on the web and cyberspace than they do in the real world. But always remember, there's always somebody in the real world that's behind all cyber crimes that connects with the cyber crime. There's always a person that stands behind that. That's a real person to an IP address, to an ISP, service provider is what that stands for. There's always somebody, internet service provider. There's always somebody there behind it. And there's always a real suspect and a real perp that gets picked up and gets put in jail as a result. So you just think about that, folks. Take care. This is Michael DeSilvas. God bless everyone, and have a peaceful day. Be safe, everyone. We'll be back with more updates.